Hold down, man. Suitcase this, my cell phone and my charger don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see you ass, you gon' leave airlifted. TV back in the building. Y'all hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified first. I've been pushing videos out frequently now, you know what I'm saying, or whatnot. And today I'm gonna speak on to y'all about the first time I was actually arrested. I was real young, you know, like my first arrest was 13 years old. And I got arrested for stealing a golf cart from this fruit place that's down here in Davie, Florida. They like, you know, it's like they got all different fruits and shit like that or whatever. But I guess the people that drive around through all the different orange trees and stuff like that had a golf cart. So, I'm going to break it down to y'all about the first time I got arrested. Like I said, I was young. So, one night, me and an associate of mine that I used to mess with, I don't talk to him no more. We actually, decided it was like midnight. You know, it was like maybe midnight, 12:30. We decided to, we're going to go over here. We landed uptown. That's what we call in my neighborhood. We landed uptown where all the stores and shit like that and everything. We went up there and, we were like, oh man, let's just go over here and see what's over here in this fruit place. So as we start going over there or whatnot, we're walking around, we're looking and shit. You know, everything's open or whatnot, but it's all closed. You know, it's got like a structured place with different fruits, but it all they would do is have like the curtains come down. They were like tarps. It was like a tarp curtain, and they would just tie it together. So anyways, we went in there, whatnot, and we see a golf cart behind the building over there. So when we go over there and see the golf cart, you know, I see a camera and everything, but I didn't give a damn. I was young, who cares? You know, walked right by the camera like it was nothing. Walked over there near the golf cart. The person I was with, I told him, yeah, you just go post up over there real quick by the, where you leave at, you feel me? And I'll go over here and see if I can hotwire real quick or whatever. Because we've had experience with golf carts before, and all you needed was you can use a butter knife or a flathead screwdriver. Anything that was like flat like that would go in and turn it, you know what I'm saying, on majority of the golf carts. So I walk up, I go up to it, the key's in the keyhole. So I literally turn it on, shit starts. Boom, I drive off. When I drive off, you know, we made it away from the place, everything fine and dandy. You know, I tell him to get on. He gets on. We start driving. He's older than me. I'm 13. He's like 17 maybe 18, if that. I don't think he was 18 yet. He was like 17. So, we're driving down this main road, which is Griffin Road, which is down here in Davie. And when we're driving down Griffin Road, next thing you know, we're like, man, let's turn down one of these streets. So we turn down one of these streets and we start going through like these houses, and they have like a field. So I'm thinking, oh, I can do donuts in it. So I go to mashing the gas, trying to do donuts in the golf cart in this field. A light clicks on over there, and people are like, man, what are you doing? What are y'all doing? So I hit the gas and take off. And when I take off, I go around the corner of one of these like houses. And when I go around the house, there's a chain link fence. And, you know, all we had to do was stop and open it was a tall chain link fence. All we had to do was open up the doorway, and we could have drove right through, like the part of the fence that opens. But instead, I'm thinking it's like, you know, the movies and shit. So I mashed the gas and run dead into the chain link fence. And all it did was like bend the fence in. Like it didn't budge. It didn't knock the fence down. It wasn't like the movies. It literally just like, I went to the part where there was no poles at, where it was just the fencing. And it literally like just bent it in. And then I had to back the thing up, try to hit it again. That shit wasn't going nowhere. So then I'm like, man, open the gate, open the gate. So he got out, opened the gate, and we drove right through. But the back end was too wide to fit through there. So we're literally both off of it now, trying to put one side. Like we had to like lift up and slide it over and try, like we had to make it fit through there. You know what I'm saying? So we finally got it through there because I'm pulling on the pole. Now I'm pulling on a pole, trying to pull a pole like to make it move while it's down there in the ground, to where he can get the golf cart through now. So we finally get it through there. We done scuffed the whole sides of the golf cart up, the whole nine, everything like that. Next thing you know, we're like, all right, boom. We're going to try to get across the street because Griffin Road goes like this, and then Orange Drive goes like this, and there's a canal in between them both. But there's little, like, crossovers every, like, probably like half a mile. There's every crossover. My neighborhood was on the other side. Like, we're on this side. This ain't my neighborhood. My neighborhood is on the whole other side of that canal. So we know, like, once we get on the other side of that canal, we're in the clear. Once we get into the hood, we're good. So we're sitting there, right at a four-way, like right where there's a four-way, like red light and all that shit at. There's bushes on the corner right next to the light with like a big like metal, like a metal square, like I guess that people from the city come to mess with lights and shit like that. Big old on the side of the road. Well, the bushes, we back up into them bushes right there, and we're waiting till there's no cars coming because we got to go over the little overpass into our neighborhood. So we got to make sure there's no vehicles coming up Griffin or Orange, which is on that side of the canal and on this side of the canal. So we're there for like an hour and a half. Every time a vehicle comes, we start going and we try to go for it. We know that someone's going to call the police on us. It's now like 2:30 in the morning. So we know someone's going to call the police on us. What are these kids doing with this damn golf cart this late at night? So next thing you know is we're sitting there. I got my homeboy. He's on the top of the overpass. So he sees down this road and this road. And he's like this, trying to tell me to come. And then I'd come out the bushes. And then he'd be like, go, no, go back. And then I hit it in reverse and go right back in the bushes. So eventually, when he's like, all right, come on, let's go. As I decide I'm going. So now when I go towards the little overpass, which is like a little bridge, when I'm coming up the bridge, there's one car coming on the other side that's coming this way. So as I'm going this way, there's a vehicle coming this way. And then I look over or whatever, and then, all we see is the headlights. Always sees the headlights. And then he's like, come on. So I'm going. My luck, that car that's coming right here is the police, the Davie police. They flick their lights. As soon as they flick their lights, I jump off the golf cart right at the top of the little overpass. And when I jump off of it, it literally ghost rides and goes down there and runs into the cop car. So I take off running back that way. When I take off running back that way, the person I was with, he puts his hands up all scared and shit. I drove by him. He was on the far end of the overpass. He was closer towards the bushes. So I drove, when I go to running, he's like this. He already puts his hands up. I'm running towards him. I'm wondering why he's got his hands up. And I go to run behind him. There's like this building, which was a bank. When I go to run by him or whatnot, he's got his hands up. The officers are screaming. Like the officer gets out the car and he's like, I got canine. Like he'll let the dogs out. So the person that was with me froze, and he's older than me. Me, I'm legit. I'm young. So he froze. He put his hands up and shit. I ran by him. He grabbed my shirt. He literally grabbed my shirt and was like trying to make me stop with him because they had canines. So I rip away from him and I keep running towards this building. The only building, which was actually across on the four-way from the bushes we was in. It was right across right here. So then when I'm run to this bank building or whatnot, thinking, like, damn, where the hell I'm gonna go? When I ran behind the bank building, it had hanging on the side of the back of the building was like a ladder, but it didn't go all the way to the ground. It was like probably like 4 feet up from the ground was the end of the ladder. But right there next to that was some 5-gallon buckets, empty buckets. So I just ran up, put that there, jumped up and grabbed the thing and pulled myself up and went up on the roof of this building, which was a bank. You feel me? So while I'm up there on the roof, I get up there and I look, man, they got this whole shit surrounded. Like it's all surrounded down there. Like they got the police, they got bruh in handcuffs, they got the canines, they walking around looking and shit. Next thing you know, they bring the helicopter out. And I'm like, oh man, like this is my first time finna get arrested or whatever, right? So I'm sitting there, my heart's going like this. There's nothing I could do, you know what I'm saying? And Sure enough, man, they came. When they came, they eventually, I seen them down there in like a huddle, like 4 or 5 of them talking. The other ones were walking with canines and shit. They was in like a huddle, and then they all went to looking up, this and that, and I'm like, oh man, I hope they don't come up here. Sure enough, man, they start coming up the ladder or whatever, caught me red-handed. I'm up there red-handed, right? So what they tell me is since I'm young or whatever, they tell me, they didn't handcuff me when I was up there. They escorted me down to where like police were on the ladder and police were on the roof. And they escorted me to the next officer, all the way down. Then when I was down there, they put me in handcuffs. They put me in the back of the car, and all the police officers' cars blocked off the overpass to where you go from one road to another into my neighborhood. And this was all over a golf cart, right? We were young. We didn't give a damn. It is what it is. So they got me in the back of the car, and since I'm young, they didn't take me to the detention center, right? What they did is, okay, they didn't take me to the detention center right away, basically. What they did is they put me in the back seat of the car. They called my old boy. I didn't tell them. When they were asking me, who do we call for you? I didn't tell them nothing like that. So I was like, I said, I don't have a number. Because I'd rather go to the detention center than get picked up by my old boy. Because my old boy didn't play that shit. You feel me? Especially when I was younger. As I got older, I was a man. It is what it is. Once I got 15, 16, my old boy, he's like, you're going to have to learn the hard way. But at this age, my old boy, I was more scared to get in the vehicle with him, Rest in peace to him, That's my dad. I love him to death. That was my best friend. But he pulls up on scene. He pulls up. He's got a long Mercury, He pulls up, him, my stepmom. And when they pull up, I just see, she gets out of the car to come up to the police, talk to police. I'm in the back seat with the person I'm with. He's in the back seat next to me. But he's the one that gave them my dad's number because we knew each other. He lived with us. You see what I'm saying? He was my stepmom's son, so he was my stepbrother. So he tells them the parents' number, basically. You feel me? So as I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, dog. The whole time she gets out the car, she comes over here, she starts yelling at her son. And when I look, I'm in the back seat and I look through the thing, I'm trying to see how my old boy is. And he's just sitting there in the car like this. He ain't even get out the car. So I'm like, damn. So I'm telling the cop, I'm like, man, I'd rather go to the detention center than go home. Straight up. That's what I'm telling him. And he's writing up the report on the laptop. He's like, why is that? I said, man, I ain't trying to get in the car with my old boy, man. To be real with you. I'm trying to go to, you feel me? This and that. And boy, my old boy, he can't. As soon as he got out of the car, once I said, I ain't getting in the car with my dad. Straight up. That's what I told them. So they had no choice. They didn't bring me to the detention center, but they brought me to the police station, which I didn't think anything of it. I thought I was going to go to the detention center. Yeah, my dad will miss me in a couple days. It's my first time being locked up as a juvenile. He might feel bad for me or whatnot, or he ain't going to be as mad as he is right now. That's all I knew. So all we did was go to the damn police station. Which my old boy was even more hot because now it's like 3:30, 4 in the morning probably. It's almost 5 o'clock, I think, by the time they came. Because it was 2-something when it happened. They got us sitting there for hours and shit. So my old boy got to work in the morning. So I know he's on fire. So he was even more mad that now he had to drive all the way to the police department to pick me up. You see what I'm saying? When I could have just got out of the vehicle right then and there and went with him. My stepbrother did. He got out of the vehicle. He got out of the cop car or whatever. They didn't take him to the detention center or nothing either. They spared him. You feel me? He was 17. They would have took his ass to the detention center. So then him, next thing you know, he gets out the car. As he's walking towards the car, as soon as he gets in the back seat of my old boy's car, I'm in the cop car still looking through the glass. And I look, and as soon as he gets in the car, I see my old boy turn around screaming at him. I'm like, boy, I'm glad I ain't in that car right now. You know what I'm saying? Because since he was older than me, my old boy looked at it like he's the one that brought me to do it and shit like that. Why you got him out here? Because I was the littlest, the younger one. So, So they brought me to the police department. Once they brought me to the police station, my old boy and them had to come get me. And I told them straight up, like, I don't want to go with my old boy. So it came to the point to where my old boy, you know, I hurt his feelings kind of or whatnot because I was saying I didn't want to go with him and he didn't want me to feel scared or anything like that. So my old boy broke it down to me like, son, I'm not going to hit you or nothing like that. I'm more, you know, disappointed than I am angry. Yeah, I'm angry or whatnot, but I'm more disappointed and shit like that. And then he spoke to me or whatever and he broke it down to me or whatever. And I was like, man, I felt like he was just saying shit like that to get me to leave the police station. You feel me? So then, whatever, I just, you know, I just sucked it up and I just bit my tongue and I was like, it is what it is. All right, I said, all right, so boom, I left with my dad and it was what he said. He was just disappointed. He didn't speak to me for like 2 days. He grounded us both. He didn't speak to me for like 2 days. He just was like disappointed in me for shit like that, you know? And when that happened, it was, I didn't go to the detention center behind that. Then I ended up, but it was considered an arrest. So I had to go to a court date. And then when I went to court or whatever, I was a juvenile. They gave me a bunch of community service hours, you know, shit like that. I didn't like get locked up or nothing over it, you know, but it was Grand Theft Auto. I got charged with Grand Theft Auto for a damn golf cart. That was my first time being arrested. And that's where it all started. I mean, I got in trouble one other time before that. I got into it with some kid after school, leaving Davie Elementary's where I went, leaving elementary school. And when I got into it with him or whatever, I grabbed his book bag and threw that shit in the canal. And it had a pair of glasses in there, like his prescription glasses that were $1,000. And I didn't know this shit. His whole book bag sunk down there. I'm like, man, that's whatever. So we fight, whatever, me and a little kid getting a little brawl or whatever. And then they came to my school the next day, police and all this stuff like that, brought me in the principal's office. And my dad had to pay for those glasses. That was like my first time getting like in trouble, you know, like some shit like that. And I had to go to a court date for that. But I didn't get arrested. And I remember when I was in court, the judge said, come here, step forward, sir. And I stepped up to the right where the judge is at. And the judge stood up and looked down. He's like, you want to go to jail? You feel me? And I was real young. And I was looking up at him and shit. But it was all over because the kid had a pair of glasses in his book bag I didn't know. But my first time, like actual arrest was for a golf cart. You know, maybe I'll break it down to y'all a little more. You know, as the arrests went through, I had a bunch of them, bunch of wild juvenile stories, to where it led me to going to juvenile programs. I was in and out of the detention center a couple times. You know, I'll break it down to y'all what it was like when I first went to the detention center, when I got in my first fight at the detention center, how I got my nickname in the detention center. My nickname wasn't KFROG in the detention center. My nickname on the streets has always been KFROG. But in the detention center, they called me Spark Plug. Well, no, I'm wrong. The juvenile program, they called me Spark Plug. They called me Chucky when I was at the detention center. They said I looked like Chucky. You feel me? So, but anyways, man, y'all hit that like and subscribe button. I hope y'all liked the video. And y'all stay tuned, man, for that new merch. You already know this frog.